we're 7 to 8 days really away from major changing. Not changing because of who may win, but also the impact that it causes for the world. You know, we talked about, the 4 conflicts. We talked about the fact that what weak leadership does. We've talked about the fact of the morals and values of America and how it spreads throughout the world. And are we going to look towards more establishment things such as what Europe has done? Or are we going to look towards pendulum swinging and earth changing and shattering this establishment thing like Argentina has done? It's really going to be something to see. Now, my plea for this video is this. What as Christians should we be doing? And this is where I also want to push the church. True godly churches. Something that we need to talk about today. And what you should be doing when it comes to this election. Again, there's really one more Sunday between this election? Maybe a few more times you meet. What should preachers, churches, elders, and others be doing? Let's talk about that today. Hey guys, welcome to The Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that's okay, but let us know what you think about the content of today's video. Our goal is to build a community of like-minded people to find wisdom, to seek guidance through this crazy world that we live in. Now, today's a little bit different. We're not going to talk about issues as much as we're going to talk about what my heart would be for the churches over the coming few days. I mean, you think about it. You're a week away from something that is going to set policy for the whole world, not just America. It could change the wars, it could change freedom of speech, it could change our 2A rights, it could change everything about what we believe in, one way or the other. Either we go further into freedom or further into a communistic, socialistic view. We saw this week that Rogan and Trump's podcast was held down. We saw also that New York Times has sent emails to Tucker and messages to Tucker trying to censor him more. We see the fact of Steve Bannon. Yes, he's getting out today, but he's been put in jail. Now he's going to go back and at least try to speak for another week before this election. We see the fact that they're going to hold down people from speaking during this time. Now my plea is this. As a Christian, and as someone who tries to speak daily, and I usually see and speak to 50 to 60,000 people on a daily average based on our videos. It's not a big platform compared to a lot of influencers, but it is something that God has given us, so therefore we want to take it and use it and not take it for granted. My plea is this. If you are a conservative Christian leader, if you are someone who is an elder, a committee member, a deacon, someone in a church that has some kind of power or speaking position, I think this bears responsibility on you. Quit trying to say Jesus wasn't in politics. Quit trying to act like you can't be in the world, you can't be of the world, you gotta live in it but not really have anything to do with it. It is what it is, God's gonna take care of it. That's all true. But at the same time, I believe we need to be more of an impactful influence in the world. The church has lost its power based on the fact that we've learned to just sit on the back seat and not on the front seat. So here's what I would say to the Christian churches, true Christian godly churches. You've got really one more Wednesday and one more Sunday to go. It's time to speak up. It's time to stand up. And it's time to make your voice heard. Now I'm going to tell you my thoughts on it. Before we do, let's jump into a word from our sponsor of today, and then we're going to dive in a little deeper on what I'm saying when it comes to being the voice and trying to be someone who is going to impact people for this, really not for America, but also for the world. If you're like me, you take pride in your home. You hear it, I hear the birds, it's a beautiful sunrise. I love sitting outside and enjoying the home that I'm in. And guess what? We do everything to protect it. You see the doors behind me, the shades right there, the screens. It allows me to know that my home is protected. But what about your title? Have you ever thought about checking the status of your title? Is your title safe? If you've answered you never have, this may be the best investment you can make. For most of us, our homes are sanctuaries. The last thing you want is the biggest investment taken from you. A new report shows that Americans now have $32 trillion in home equity. It's an all-time high. This makes us a target for crimes the FBI calls homesteading, where scammers can transfer your home title in their name and take out loans, draining your hard-earned equity. If no one is watching your home title, that is a danger for you. That puts you in a position that's going to cost you, and it's going to have to make you have to fight for it. That's why we have partnered with Home Title Lock. Let them take care of your home's title so you can focus on what's important, your family, what's inside the home. You can sign up right now for the triple lock protection. That's monitoring, that's alerts, and that's also title restoration. Remember, that's HometitleLock.com. You can get a complete title scan to check exactly what the status is on your title, and also 30 days free of protection by using my promo code THEMAX. Remember, that's HometitleLock.com, promo code THEMAX. This could be some of the best money you ever spend to protect your home virtually. And again, it's like pennies a day. Do not miss out on this opportunity. Promo code THEMAX, HometitleLock.com. Get your title scan today and make sure that you are protected. So again, a week away. I think churches have lost its power based on the fact of not being able to speak. And here's what I'm saying. We've had the opportunity to speak for such a long time, and we've not taken the opportunity. How many times are we seeing crusades like the Billy Graham conferences and speaking all over America? Or the time of the Jesus Revolution? Now, no matter what your thoughts are on Billy Graham or the Jesus Revolution or something like that, why are we not seeing more revivals and more evangelistic movements across this nation to want to change our morals and values back to Christ? Well, because we're not doing that anymore, and because there's so much infighting in the Christian movement, I honestly believe we've lost our power as a voting bloc. Truth be told, yes, the Republicans and Trump are definitely a friend for freedom and Christianity, no doubt. But really, we kind of lost our voice. When you think about it, Billy Graham spoke to almost every president. You kind of lost the fact of having that impactful influence and reach into America, not just in politics, but in the world thought pattern of just morals and values. Well, because the church has taken so many losses by not being a voice, because they said, well, Jesus wasn't involved in politics. Yeah, we're above that. We've actually lost our way. I actually think it's the exact opposite. I think Jesus wants us involved in politics, and I actually think the more that we speak about it, the more that, yes, we'll probably face persecution, the more we'll face people throwing eggs in our face, the more we'll face things like jail time. I believe you'll face those things coming up. But if we're not willing to speak up and stand up for Christ, then what are we actually doing wearing his badge of saying that we are Christ followers? Now, what I'm talking about is this. Yes, we need revivals. Yes, we need changes of morals and values. But now more than ever, you have an election, and you have one Sunday to do it. As I said, deacons, preachers, pastors, elders, if you are not getting up this Sunday and saying, not only, yes, we need to vote, that's a moral obligation, don't beat around the bush. You need to bring it out to the fact that if you are a Christian conservative, you cannot vote for the platform of the Democratic Party. They stand on the fact of what we would consider complete against morals and obligations and values, against marriage, the fact of abortion, the fact of rights that we wouldn't necessarily agree with when it comes to just our normal 10 Commandments. We try to gloss over it as act like, well, we don't want to just tell people who to vote for. You better. That is your responsibility. It's not about who to vote for. It's about saying, here's the facts. You have one party who is willing to be a friend to Christians, who's willing to give a voice, who's willing to allow them a seat at the table. Now, we should have way more than a seat at the table, but I actually blame us as Christian conservatives, and really the few generations even before, that they were not willing to stand up and actually speak and face persecution to keep, not the seat at the table, but keep a more powerful voting bloc. Now you hear about all these like 35 billion people that are there and sit it out that are Christians. Honestly, if you're a Christian, a true Christian, you know exactly how you're supposed to vote this election. Now, is Trump perfect? Nope. Is Trump conservative and Christian enough? Probably not. But look at the platforms. Go read the Republican platform, and then go read the Democrat platform. If you honestly read them, as a Christian, you will not vote Democrat. And here's my problem. We kind of know that. Preachers kind of know that. Men of God or Christians who proclaim to know God will say that. but they're scared to actually talk about it in church. You know, the Democrats are good about trying to use the religious way, especially when it comes to close to elections. You know, Kamala will go in churches, Clinton will go in churches, Biden will go in churches. They always go in African American churches because they want to try to sway the African American vote. We need to be proactive. Do we need to allow Donald Trump to walk into a church? I don't care. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the voice. You're seeing censorship, but you know where Christians don't have censorship? In their own churches. So this week, your pastor, and you need to let him know. You need to tell him this week he needs to speak on Christ, but he also needs to speak on the fact that this election is very impactful. Now, I don't care what religion you are. And I don't care what kind of church you go to. If you're a conservative, Christian, true, godly-oriented church, you would bring up the fact that this Democratic Party is completely against the morals and values and the biblical teachings of God and of Christ. No doubt. There's no comparison. Now, you can say, well, what about love? Teaches love. Democrats about love. Don't try to gloss over sin and call it love. Now, are we perfect? No. I strive to be, but I'm not by far. But you know what? If we're not willing to speak and talk about the issues, and I'm not talking about beat around the bush, you call it for what it is. You say, as a Christian conservative, you can't support the Democrat platform. You have to support the Republican platform. And by you not voting as a Christian conservative, you are actually voting for the Democrat platform, because you would typically vote on the conservative side or the Christian-based side of morals and values, which would be the Republican Party. Now, do they have it all right? No. There is Republicans that, to me, just are Republican in name only. They're just as sleazy as the Democrats. But again, look at the platform. They still want to see nuclear families. They still promote families. They still promote a father in the home. They still promote a freedom of allowing you to express your faith and liberty and guidance and having the opportunity to go to church and not be persecuted for it. The Democrats are completely against that. They took God out of their platform. So this is my plea. Every minister, every elder, every song leader, everyone that has a voice in the church, they can't shut you up. You're not on this. You may be on this if you're broadcasting, but I'm talking about the people in the pews need to hear you say, it's time to stand up, and it's time to have your voice heard, and to be the voting bloc, and to be the powerful name that we once had. We have to learn to call it out for what it is. We cannot vote for Democrats because of the way that they look at different policies. We have to call that out. So therefore, we have to vote. Okay, we have to vote for Trump. Yes, okay, we have to vote for whatever state senator that is standing up for morals and values and conservative views. If you're trying to vote for someone with a D behind their name, don't try to justify it as a Christian. You can justify it any other way, but you cannot justify it as a Christian. Now, I'm sorry if I offend you on this video. It's not a long video, but I believe that if you have one Sunday left, I believe if you're a man of God and you're taking the podium, there's no reason that you don't profess, of course, Christ, because that is the ultimate reason for you to be there. But also you talk about the importance of this election, and also you point out what truth is. And you talk about the fact of what Trump and the Republicans stand for versus Kamala and the Democrats. If your church is not doing that this week, I think that is a complete and utter foreshadowing of what the church has become. Weak. And I think that's why now there's so much mention of almost like a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, it's like we are, because we're not willing to stand on truth. The church has got to be the shining light. And if the church has power, it's going to help push that for America. If the church if really people who call themselves Christians acted like Christians, we would be the most powerful nation in the world, not because of bad things, not because of war, but because we would be so strong in every aspect of morals and values and be the influence and impact across the world. We would change the world. America already sets precedents for the world. Now it's time to change the world. We need the pendulum swinging, and you've got less than really 8 days to do it, 7 days a week to do that. I mean, really, a week will change everything. But as a pastor, again, as a Sunday school teacher, as a small Bible study leader, I put it on you this week. it bears responsibility for you to stand up and you make the voice heard of what really Republicans and Democrats are and how important it is to vote for Trump in this election. Not because he will save us, not because he is going to do something amazing, but that the party that he impacts and influences, and also the fact that it gives us a voice, is the Republican Party. That's why you have to vote this time. Don't just push people to vote. Push people to vote on the issues of morals and values, and you lay it right out plain as day. That's my challenge for this week. Not my typical video, but I'll be honest with you, it's been bothering me. I mean, I feel like a weight, me and my wife talked about this the other day, I feel like the weight of the world is on me this week. And it shouldn't be. I just feel so overly stressed about this whole situation. Because I hear about all these people not wanting to vote, or hear about all these kind of Christian conservatives that are, well, you know, I don't know who to vote for. What? You're not a Christian conservative if you're not voting for the Republicans and the movement of freedom and liberty and the ableness to practice our values. That's only one way. Trump and Republicans. You may not like me talking this bold and brash, but ultimately, if we keep getting censored, if we keep being weak, one day we're going to look up and we're going to say, where in the world have we gone? And it's going to be too late for Christians to actually stand up and actually be heard, because they're going to be persecuted and taken advantage of. It's time for the church to quit being weak and stand up. Guys, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this. I believe your pastor should be up in arms this Sunday, promoting Christ, of course, but also talking about the true issue of this vote and the impact of the world it can make. The chance for Christians to shine again really comes down to Sunday and next Tuesday. Guys, thank you for watching. God bless.